All right, in this tutorial, I am going to show you how to create a second level, or at least how to, once we win, load the next scene, and then you can create the second level. So we've made a VR escape room over the course of this whole tutorial, and when we get to the end of it, what happens is we walk out the other side of the room. Movie plays with fireworks, and then we're just kind of stuck here forever. And so presumably we would then like to load another scene or another level or something like that. So here's my strategy. When we win, so to speak, in this, the way that works is we get out this door and walk into this Win Collider. And the Win Collider has a script that we wrote that plays a sound and turns on the movie screen object here and then plays the movie. The other thing that I think it could do is start a timer. You know, nothing we see, but Unity can just kind of count down and be like, okay, you've seen the movie for like 5 seconds, good enough, and then load the next scene. I am going to use another kind of helper script provided by Unity. I got this out of one of their tutorials that utilizes the event system and a kind of timer function. Again, I'm doing this because I make no claims that I am a programmer. I'm not. But I know enough to be dangerous, and I also know where my limits are. And so one of my limits is that I don't fully know how to write this, but Unity wrote it for me, so why not use it? And this one works by using the events namespace. It creates a floating point variable, two of them really, a minimum and a maximum, and these are supposed to be seconds. And then it basically waits for a random number of seconds between the min and the max. If we just want it to be not random, we could set min and max to the same thing. And then when it waits that number of seconds, it plays the event that we're going to assign. Could I learn this, pick it apart, and write a simpler piece of code that probably just used wait for seconds interval? Yeah, I probably could. But I have this working piece of code that I've grabbed from Unity, and so I am going to use this and let that be the core of how I make this happen. Then I'm going to couple it with something that we used in one of the previous episodes of this series, the load scene script that again comes from Unity. Used it in their Create with VR tutorial series, and in this one we're just using the scene management namespace, and it has two functions that it can perform. We used reload current scene in a previous tutorial to make a reset button, but this time we're going to use load scene using name, and that's going to be a name we supply as a string variable. Okay, here's my strategy. This movie screen object doesn't appear until we've won. So I'm going to put this timer on the movie screen. And my thinking is I don't want the timer to start until we've won. So we have won once the movie screen appears. So I'm going to set my min interval and max interval to say 5 seconds to start and just see how that feels. If I did between 0 and 5, remember this particular function was random, so it could accidentally just do 1 second or even 0.1 seconds. So I'm going to force it to 5 here. And then here, and honestly, this is why I am using Unity's version, is I like their event system strategy because it works well with the XR Interaction Toolkit and how we've been learning to do events the whole time. So we're going to add something to the list of events. And what we're going to add is we need this load scene script. So I think I'm going to add another component just to this same object. So load scene will be the thing we're trying to fire off. So that'll be on movie screen. And then the function will be load scene. And this time, unlike we did before, we're not doing reload, we're doing load scene using name. And then it's waiting for a string, which is something we type. And it so happens that I've made a scene already over in my scenes folder. And I called it level 2. If you haven't done that already, you would just go in your scenes folder and right click and create scene. And then you could give it a name. And the name matters because that's what we're putting in this string. So level 2 is my scene name. Now there's really just one more step. We're going to go File and then Build Settings. And we have to actually add that level 2 into the scenes in build. Because you can have tons of scenes in your scenes folder, but that doesn't mean they're actually going to be loaded into your software. You have to add them to the build. So the way we do this is pretty simple. You can just click and drag. And so now it has our escape room unfinished, which was what I named this as I was working on it. And then it has level 2. So as a test, we can try this without, from the beginning, we could just leave the movie screen on. And so when we hit play, it should just count to 5, and then it's going to load level 2. So I'm waiting. There it is. We're on level 2. So now I would simply make my movie screen not be active anymore. And then I can go through the whole experience. Okay, so as we walk out here, get our celebration fireworks, and then we go to level 2.